Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien here on the morning of Monday, March 28th, 2022. And for you and the rest of the human beings on planet Earth, here is a commentary that I suggest as a way of ending the Ukraine Russia world mess and World War III at the same time. As an alien from another planet, here's what I say. I submitted an email to the United Nations this morning outlining 4 proposals to the Russians to eliminate or get a ceasefire in Ukraine. And the ceasefire can have a lot of different ways of handling it. That's why I didn't put down there, okay, when you cease fire, what's going to do with the Russian forces, what you're going to do with the Ukraine forces, because we have to do that in a diplomatic fashion with the Russians and the UN. And the UN will help. What I'm proposing to the UN Secretary General is these nations should not participate in the UN discussions. United States, China, Russia, and any of the states that are participating, North Korea, Iran, should not participate in those either. Ukraine. Okay. This is because one of the proposals that I have with this is that the UN make Ukraine a one-of-a-kind situation that starts with them. Call them a UN nation. And a UN nation is neither in the sphere of influence of China or Russia or in the American sphere of influence. So it develops its government the way it wants. It wants to live and govern the way it wants under UN Charter. This is what the UN was meant for, not the joke that it is today. So I'm asking the Secretary General of the United Nations to step forward and become the leader of the planet Earth that the United Nations has designated you to be. Not President Biden, not Putin, not Xi. No world order from those 3 states should be dominating other states. Okay? And Zelensky should represent Ukraine. He is the acknowledged leader and elected leader of Ukraine. Now, in my proposal, I also proposed that there was a 10-mile neutral zone be established on the Ukrainian-Russian border with the 5 miles on the Russian side, 5 miles on the Ukrainian side, manned by UN personnel, other than those states that I've heard before that are not part of the UN in this regards. Because they are the mitigating people who have caused this mess. In that neutral zone, the Ukrainians don't have any claims to their territory for a period to be denoted by the United Nations on this neutral zone. It will eventually go away. But that's the way it would be. Next, I've also included on this that Russia is never allowed to put any of its military forces, paramilitary, or whatever you want to call them, crossing from a border any of the neighbors of Ukraine. That constitutes war with Russia, and the United Nations will seek war to defend Ukraine because it's a United Nations Charter member and member nation, the first of its kind. And these member nations will start a new world order. which means not the capitalist West or the totalitarian East, meaning Russia and China and cohorts, and the United States and our cohorts on the West, will dominate the affairs of a nation. A nation decides to go where it goes. If it wants to ally itself with another nation and militarily the two nations are it, or unite as a nation and become a human culture, that's their responsibilities under the UN Charter. This is a good example. And when we're negotiating with the Ukraine, the country will stay whole. The people on the east side of eastern Ukraine will have a choice. Do you want to be part of Ukraine or do you want to be part of Russia? Now, the other issue is a little tougher. The Crimea Peninsula, for the time being, should stay under the control of Russia because it was illegally seized by the former Soviet Union under underhanded tactics done back in the 1950s, and this should have been diplomatic resolved by Russia and Ukraine under UN auspices when the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991. But the UN was in no position then to do anything about it because the United States was pressing them because they wanted to have all the countries to become part of NATO, which they almost succeeded. That is not the way to handle a situation like this, United States, and now it's come back to haunt you in the Darien. There's more to this. But to all humans and Americans, this is your favorite alien telling you, this is the way to go. Your nation states are a thing of the past. Just like your fossil fuels are a thing of the past. You just don't know how to handle transitioning from fossil fuels to other things. And you don't know how to handle transitioning from nation states to another form of human culture, which you must develop if you want to succeed. Otherwise, you're heading for oblivion in World War III. This is your favorite alien. Good day.